What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another review from Monday Night Raw. And I failed to mention this on the last episode because because for some reason on the shows, they don't really like to mention, or if they do mention it, it's a quick throwaway line that they just speed through sometimes. They skipped Monday Night Raw last week, and this past, I believe, this is the Monday right after WrestleMania. So WrestleMania was either Sunday or Saturday. Again, these pay-per-views have been taking place on random days. SummerSlam last year in 1993 was on a Monday. Survivor Series was, I think, Thanksgiving, so it was on a Thursday. And I think the Rumble was on a Saturday in 1994. I don't really pay attention to when these shows are, and they don't do a good job at keeping me informed. So I had no idea. So that's why I mentioned in the last video that was technically the go-home show for WrestleMania. And if I gave it a bad grade and I had a terrible grade to give it, I probably would have given it that because they did absolutely nothing to get you intrigued or even follow up on any major storylines that were going on to get you to WrestleMania. So this is the show after WrestleMania, March 21st, 1994, episode 55 in Raw's history, or at least in my review history. So let's get right into the review. And like I said, the Raw after WrestleMania, where people cheer who they normally boo and boo those they normally cheer, or something like that. And again, if it wasn't for the commentary telling us, vaguely I might add, I would have watched this entire show without watching WrestleMania first, because since it's the 21st of March, I still thought it was way too early for WrestleMania to be taking place. At least now it's usually at the end of March or early April, so I didn't think to watch WrestleMania before this one. Again, because they didn't do a good enough job telling me that there will be no Monday Night Raw, and WrestleMania will be happening, 2 weeks from then. So Raw begins with a tag team match between the Quebecers and the Bushwhackers. Yes, the Bushwhackers are still a thing in 1994. Some goofy stuff as you'd expect to start off the match. I gotta remember half the time that this is, for the most part, still meant for kids. The Bushwhackers hit the battering ram on both Quebecers, and while the referee tries to get one of the Bushwhackers out, then the Bushwhackers go after Johnny Polo, but Pierre gets one of them from behind and gets the win. By the way, at Mania they lost by DQ to Men on a Mission. After the match, they get interviewed, and before they can say much, Captain Lou Albano comes out and challenges them. He tells us that he's going to get a team together and challenge them for the tag team belts. So we'll see where that goes. We see some random video of Iris giving some tax advice. These are one of those videos that don't really matter in the long run. It was just placed here to get him on the show and basically fill up time. And next up we had Tatanka picking up a win over a jobber with a Samoan drop. And then right after that we had another squash match where Diesel got the win with a jackknife powerbomb. So now, unlike last year, the WWF Champion makes an appearance at Raw the night after. Quick trivia, who was the WWF Champion going into the Raw after WrestleMania last year? And now that Brett is the champion again, he comes out and says that he's willing to put the belt on the line against anyone, including Yokozuna, who will want his rematch, and he's down to give it to him. He also brings up his loss to Owen, and he tells him that he won fair and square, and that even though he lost, things are a little different now. Obviously, the fact that he's the WWF Champion. So it looks like this rivalry is still going to go on further from here. Then we have Jeff Jarrett taking on the returning Coco Beware. We haven't seen him since a year ago, at least on Raw and pay-per-views. But long story short, Jarrett wins with his running DDT. Jeff goes to the announcer table to run his mouth about something, and Macho Man throws some water or soda at him. Jeff tries to lure him into the ring, and Savage actually goes. He does a couple of moves on him before tossing him out of the ring. They do have a couple more things on the show, but nothing that really matters. So let's just go to the awards. For the best moment, I had Macho Man actually jumping in the ring to face the person calling him out. Usually it's all talk and no action, setting up something for a week or two down the line. So yeah, best moment, Macho Man actually growing a pair and getting in the ring the moment someone actually calls him out. For the worst moment, for the night after WrestleMania, it still doesn't address most of the results. It's still just a bunch of random matches, so that worst moment is just going to be them not treating this like the night after their biggest show. Wackiest performer is going to go to the Bushwhackers. Just my opinion here, but I never got these guys. Even someone like Doink, I see why he's on the show, but not these guys. They are the definition of the word whack. For the stand-up performer, I'm going to give that to the Quebecers. I didn't enjoy their match or their opponents, but I do really like the way they work as heels. So for this episode, again, I'm going to have to be picky because if I'm not, any show can be considered a must-watch. So this will get a bad grade for me, especially because of the context of it being right after WrestleMania. And with all that being said, I'm out.